Stay right there because I have a question for you. What is the one thing every entrepreneur requires to have online in order to grow? What's the one thing every serial entrepreneur or business owner needs before they grow their list? What's that one thing before traffic is even possible? What's the one thing before you even get a click from someone? What's the one thing that could lead into a lasting legacy for generations to come? And I'll tease you again, what is the one thing that provides you the raw material to become a social influencer in the area of your expertise? That one thing is really exposure. Now, we call it exposure and visibility. If you're a marketer, we call that marketing reach. First, you have to be exposed to people seeking you. And that's called a seeker. Then after the seeker comes a suspect. They click, they tweet, they post, they like, they push a button so that you have more influence. There's always a button between you and influence. And so the bottom line is you need exposure first with seekers. Then if you get a click, that's a suspect. If you get an opt-in, that's called a prospect. If they buy something, that's called a buyer. And you can call them a client, a customer, a patient, but we'll call them a buyer for the purposes of this lesson. And then if they buy again, that's called a multi-buyer. And the purpose of your business is to create multi-buyers, but you can't have a lot of multi-buyers unless you have buyers. You can't have a lot of buyers unless you have prospects. You can't have a lot of prospects unless you have people clicking as suspects. And you can't have suspects unless you have lots and lots of seekers. And it's all about your marketing exposure and visibility. Does that make sense? It should, because it doesn't matter if you're a dentist, if you're a chiropractor, if you're an accountant, a CPA, a gardener, if you carve wooden bears in Santa Cruz, California, as one of my students does. It doesn't matter if you're an information marketer or if you're a consultant or coach or healer, a therapist. You need exposure. The three markets that this is most likely to impact, the most with the most influence, are speakers, authors, and trainers. If you're a speaker, you could still be in business. Like, for example, I have a friend who's a chiropractor, but he's also a speaker, and he has a lot of chiropractic clients. So he has business to business, and he also has business to consumer because he has chiropractic patients as well. So if you're a speaker, usually you're one notch up as a social influencer. How about an author? Same thing. I have a CPA friend. He's an author. He's written a book, and it's a book about how to save taxes. Now, he still has CPA clients, certified public accountant, but he's one notch up because he knows his market, he knows his message, he needs that thing called exposure and visibility to take his book to the whole new level that he wants. That's called an author. And then a trainer, I define a trainer by someone who does physical events, virtual events like I do, or speaks at events, and they're actually training. They're not just teaching, they're training so people have a transformation at that workshop, whether it's virtual or it's physical. So a trainer needs more exposure to fill seats. A trainer needs exposure so that they have more people watching, like right now. I'm training. So if you're a speaker, author, or trainer, or want to be, then believe it or not, the one thing you need more than anything else is exposure. And the one thing that you don't have enough of, if you have not enough issues about one thing, it should be about exposure, because we never get enough. Politicians never have enough of it. Best-selling authors never have enough of it. They're always complaining that their publisher didn't assist them. Marketers never have enough of it. They could always use more. I know someone who has millions of likes and has millions of fans, and he thinks he doesn't have enough exposure. So there's always not enough issues with exposure, and today we're going to put an end to that, because we're going to give you some proof assets. We're going to show proof of a hangout we did a few weeks ago, and that was the beginning. That was the seed to lead to this hangout. We recorded it like we're doing today. We took the video and repurposed it and put it in different channels that were relevant online. We took the audio, we took that out, squeezed it out of the video, and ripped it, as they say, and we put it into areas where audio is very relevant, such as iTunes. And we also took the transcript like today, it was about a 30-minute session on how to get massive exposure on LinkedIn, but all of that content that was repurposed and put all over the net, the call to action was to come to this Hangout and to watch this Hangout, which is marketingonline.com/TED2, TED, and then the number 2, because that is where the replay will be forever. Now, the bottom line is how to get exposure using LinkedIn. The tool we're going to use is a methodology called repurposing. What is repurposing? It's much better to write one book and repurpose it 10 different ways than to write 10 books and not repurpose at all. Let me repeat. It's better to write one book or one piece of content or one post or one hangout and repurpose it 10 ways. Turn it into a how-to course. Turn it into an autoresponder how-to series. Turn it into a podcast. Turn it into multiple Twitter tweets. Turn it into Facebook posts, Facebook videos, YouTube videos, and the list goes on. We're going to give you a map to do this on your own that's worth billions of dollars. We're just going to give it to you so you see it, because most people don't even utilize it. So hopefully you'll have it, and even if your competitors have it, they probably won't do it because they're lazy, right? And then I'm going to ask you what your hub is. The hub is where all the traffic goes. The hub to the session and event that we did a couple weeks ago was to get registered for this Hangout. That was our hub. That's where all the spokes were going into. What's your root content? What do you use as root content? Well, that question's important. We use video for root content. Why? Because with video we can pull audio. With video we have transcript. So now we have written word, spoken word, and visual word. Now, if you're a writer, that's great, but you don't have the video. And if you're a speaker, that's great, but you don't have the video. So Google loves video, so does the rest of the net. So start with root content with video, speak through pictures like I'm doing right now, pull the audio, pull the written word in the form of a transcript, and all of a sudden you can put it everywhere using the hub and spoke methodology. The next question is, what are your media spokes? You know, your media sources, Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, Easy Articles, those are all media sources, and they're like bicycle spokes on a wheel, right? So those spokes lead to one place. For us, it was LinkedIn. I'm going to introduce you to our guest today. This is a long introduction because he's going to speak from this point forward as soon as I'm done. And today, it used to be you wanted the ideal message to market match. Thank you, Dan Kennedy, and many other smart people before him. But I'm going to say flat out, you want to have an ideal message to media match. Just matching the right media is all you need. Why? Because the media is attached to the market. There's no longer NBC, ABC, CBS, if you're old enough to remember them. Now there's thousands of media channels, and they're very niche-oriented. So you don't have to find the niche anymore. Just find the media, and the niche has already found them. So if you find the right media, even niches within the media niches such as Facebook, right, and all the audiences you can go after, find the right media source, especially new media, and then your presentation skills will make a big impact. Let me introduce you to Ted Prodromou if you've never met him. Ted, what gives you the right to talk about LinkedIn? Let's start at the beginning.
What gives me the right? Well, 10 years ago, I used to go to BNI. Dr. Ivan Meisner started it, your friend. And we used to meet every Friday morning for breakfast from 7 to 9, and there was about 45 people. And that was my exposure, those 45 people. And we would just trade leads. It was one person from every profession. And if I had somebody needed a chiropractor that I knew, I would refer them to our chiropractor. So it worked great. I was in there for 3 years. Almost all my business came from Marin County, where I am now. And my exposure was 45 people, and that was it. So now with LinkedIn, I have almost 400 million people I can be exposed to, which we're going to show you how we did it today.
And we started with one piece of content. So I'm going to show you a repurposing, I call it the repurposing roadmap. I'm going to show it to you, and then I'm going to tell you where to get it, okay? So it's 2 phases. It's called the repurposing roadmap, and then you have your root content. Now, I recommend a 7 to 10 minute hangout on air, which is what HOA stands for. But we did 30 minutes. Why? Because we do this all the time. So, you know, it's harder to do longer, but if you've done it for a while, then longer is okay. And then you have the video as the root content, right? From there, you can take out the audio, which Ted did, and then from there you have a transcript. So I went to rev.com, RAV.com, and for $1 a minute, cost me 30 bucks. I looked at the transcript, I got it, I enhanced it, and I sent it back to Ted, and then he went crazy. What did Ted do? Well, what Ted did is he did phase 2. Now, the irresistible offer page, that's called the hub. This is the only thing that will cause confusion for people because simply they're indecisive, okay? But I don't want you to be indecisive. I want you to be decisive and figure out what your offer page is going to be. For us, it was getting registered for this hangout that you're watching. So your irresistible offer is called your hub, and here are the spokes: YouTube, Easy Articles, Google+, Facebook, LinkedIn, press releases, blog post, audio podcast, Web 2.0 sites. Look that up on Google so you understand what it is. Twitter, and of course iTunes is here too as well. All of that with the call to action going into the irresistible offer page. For us, it was this hangout. So if you're here as a result of this repurposing, congratulations. It was only 1 week's worth. Now, where you get this is marketingonline.com/roadmap. marketingonline.com/roadmap, and how to get maximum online exposure in minimum time. That's it. I kind of borrowed that from my old mentor, Gary Halpert, how to get maximum online exposure in minimum time, right? That's a template he used for a headline, and you can use this, and I hope you'll apply it and not just kind of look at it. So, Ted, take us through the story. So you had the hangout, you had the audio, and then you had the transcript. What happened?
Yeah, what we did differently was with that hub and spoke, we drove all the traffic to that replay page where we actually broadcasted it live. Then first thing I did was put a broadcast button or a register button on there. So we register for this hangout. And then you put the transcript, you gave me that, I pasted it at the bottom. So some people like to watch, some people like to listen, some people like to read. I get those requests all the time. So put it in all the formats and people will engage with you.
Now you brought them into LinkedIn, is that correct?
Correct.
All right. How many views did we get in a week?
So it's over 21,000 right now.
Okay.
And we got a lot more because I sent people there to register for it. So.
Okay. Now 21,000 means a lot of exposure. Imagine if you did this week after week. Alex, how do we make money from it? Eventually you will, because exposure precedes suspects, right? Which precedes prospects, which precedes buyers. So First build the community and then you have the buyers. Would you agree with that, Ted?
Totally. Yeah. You got to build that trust before they'll buy from you.
That's right. Now, we have a screen share I'm going to show you, and this is something that Ted put together. This is the normal traffic strategy. Now, if you're listening to this, now notice what I just did. I'm saying if you're listening to this, because if they're listening or they're reading it, then see this traffic strategy doesn't make sense anymore, so you have to present your video in a specific way. So what I'm looking at right now is website in the middle, and then going around all the spokes is Facebook, blog post, YouTube, podcast, Google+, Hangout on Air broadcast, which is what we're doing, transcription, easyarticles.com, press release, LinkedIn, email, community, Twitter. Now we have a community called the Master Virtual Presenter Community, which everyone is invited to come and join, all right? But the point of this normal traffic strategy is what, Ted, as we're looking at it?
We're always driving people to our website or a specific page on our website.
So when you say website, it could be tedprodromo.com. For me, it could be Marketing Online, but the normal or the typical strategy is where they just go to the website and that's that, correct?
Yeah, I usually have somebody that can opt into my newsletter on that page, but that's not the focus of where I send them. It's like a good article of content or a video.
Okay, now the experimental traffic strategy is you change the hub, and if you're listening to this and you can't see the image, then LinkedIn has replaced the website. So you have all the other media spokes around: Twitter, Facebook, blog post, YouTube, podcast, Google+. I bet our transcribers really have a problem with the speed I'm talking. Hangout on Air, broadcast, transcription, easing, articles, press release, website, email, community. Basically, website became a spoke and LinkedIn became the hub. And why did you do that, Ted?
Oh, that's what we were just kind of brainstorming when we had coffee one day. I said, what would happen if we drove everybody to a page on LinkedIn? You know, they can't opt in. We can't, you know, catch them with retargeting ads. It's just we're sending them to a different website. And, you know, they may go, they may not. But we don't have any control over what happens once they get there.
Now, here's what's interesting. LinkedIn has a lot more Google juice than our website does, correct?
Oh, yeah, a lot more. We had some great results from that.
People would say you're just throwing traffic away. What would you say to them?
No, LinkedIn, Google loves LinkedIn content, especially the posted content. So LinkedIn's goal is to become the largest publishing platform on the internet. So Google's all in bed with that. They want good content to show in those search results.
So just as easily, we could put Facebook in the middle or Twitter in the middle, but we did LinkedIn because that was your preferred platform, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Even the website, you know, your website is sending traffic there. So tell me what we did next. Okay, I'm looking at a web page. It looks like it's on LinkedIn. It says Principles of Lead Generation on LinkedIn Hangout with Alex Mondosian. For those who are listening and reading, what are they seeing here?
So this is the LinkedIn post I created that we simulcasted the Hangout on live through YouTube.
So in other words, the Hangout we did is simulcasting, meaning it's happening at the same time on YouTube?
If you scroll down, you'll see the video, so they can watch the replay after the YouTube, the live session.
Okay, this is a PowerPoint, so I can't scroll, but
right.
It's going to YouTube. Now, the next page, we look at google.com. We're on a Google search page if you're listening right now. And see what I'm doing? I'm talking to the listener because you need to do that as well if you're doing a video as root content. And Principles of Lead Generation on LinkedIn. There's 1.2 million results, and in less than a week, we're number 1, number 2, and number 3. I bet we could go to lead generation through Gestalt design principles and say, hey, would you like to get on a Hangout with us? And he'll say, who are you? And I'll say, I'm number 1, number 2, and number 4. Who are you? He says, I'm number 3, right? But anyway, what are we seeing here? We're looking at a Google results page, and the keyword phrase is Principles of Lead Generation on LinkedIn. What happened here?
This is proof that Google loves any content posted on LinkedIn and also loves YouTube content, because the number 4 there is your YouTube replay video.
So this happened in less than a week, correct?
It happened like in a day. I mean, less than an hour, I think, really, once we posted everything. Instant results on Google. And we're not tricking the system. This is going to stay there forever.
Okay, let's go to the next slide. I hope if you are watching, I hope you're super impressed. If you're listening, I hope you're super impressed as well. If you're listening, go to marketingonline.com/TED2, and you'll see the video. So there, you get the video as well. What are we looking at here, Ted? It's YouTube.
So these are YouTube. I did a search on YouTube for it, and there's your video number 1 for Principles of Lead Generation on LinkedIn.
Okay, so the keyword phrase is Principles of Lead Generation on LinkedIn. That's what we're typing into YouTube. My good friend Perry Marshall has a paid ad at the top. There's another paid ad right below that, and then we're number 1 above the super fast recruitment ladies. I'm looking at an image with 2 ladies saying Recruitment Marketing Podcast, which has probably been there for a while, and it says Principles of Lead Generation on LinkedIn, and it's number 1, Ted. It happened in less than a week.
Yep, I see that other video has been there for a year, so this is the new SEO. This is how you get ranked now.
Okay, I hope anyone who is watching or listening or reading gets this. Now, what are we looking at here? For those listening, just describe what they see. It looks like a podcast.
Yeah, this is a tweet I did to talk about the podcast once I posted the podcast.
So it says, click for more customers. Ted Prodromou says, Principles of Lead Generation. Did you have to re-record the podcast, or is this the audio from the Hangout?
No, like you said, I ripped the audio out of there, turned it into an MP3. I uploaded it into my podcast on iTunes, and here it is.
Well, wait a minute. So all I'm hearing is you didn't do any more production. What you're doing is you're taking the existing production and sprinkling it all over the net.
Exactly.
Okay. Is there anything else you're doing?
No, it's that easy.
Okay, I'm going to go to you as the live screen so they see your face. Now, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but why is this so exciting to you as someone who's been online for a while?
Oh, I've been doing SEO for 12 years, and it used to be, you had to do all those tricks and meta tags and links, and it was just, you really didn't know what made you rank. But now you just create good content, repurpose it, and place it in all these high traffic sites, and you get instant Google rankings.
And what you did is you changed the hub from your website to your preferred social media platform, and it changed everything.
Exactly.
Okay. It's counterintuitive. You're kind of sending traffic away, but you're sending traffic away to a platform that can really give you more exposure. Now, here's another one that looks exactly the same. It says Principles of Lead Generation LinkedIn Podcast with Alex Mondosian. What's different about this one?
So there I used your Twitter handle in there. So I posted one of them from LinkedIn, and one of them I did straight on Twitter.
Okay, excellent. And then now
I'm leveraging your Twitter traffic by using your name in there.
Right, so you're leveraging my Twitter exposure, and then you're leveraging yourself as well just by changing the handle. Now, I'm looking at a few posts with your face on it, and it says Principles of Lead Generation on LinkedIn. Now, it's a very good topic. Everyone needs more leads. Everyone needs more exposure. So for those listening or reading, what are they seeing on the video here?
So I learned this actually from Gary Vaynerchuk, where he said, I don't just tweet something once. I tweet it 7 or 8 times a day. The same thing, or maybe vary it a little bit, but the stream goes so fast through Twitter, you really just you got to give people a chance to see it. Some people log in the morning, some people at lunch, some people at midnight. So just put that content out there over and over, and nobody knows it's been out there 3 or 4 or 7 times the same day.
Okay, so wait a minute. So you're telling me, we're with you on the big screen again. You're telling me you're doing the exact same post on Twitter throughout the day, no additional work, you're just reposting?
I schedule it in Hootsuite, so it goes automatically.
Okay, now is this legal?
Yeah.
Is this gray hat or black hat?
No. Gary Vaynerchuk's doing it, and he's getting, I don't know how many million followers he has. I'll try it.
Okay, and then this whole strategy we're doing with the hub and spoke, is it legal?
It's totally legal.
And does YouTube or does LinkedIn or Facebook or Google frown upon it, or do they like it?
They actually want more good content. So if you keep putting it in front of them, they're going to show it to people. So.
Okay. And notice more content doesn't always mean more content. It just means the same content in more ways. That's called repurposing. That's why the repurposing roadmap is profound. Now, I'm looking at a slide that says, what do you want to learn in this week's Principles of LinkedIn? And me and Alex Mondosian, leave a comment. All right, so we're looking at a page with your picture on it. What is this?
This is a tweet I did, and I was trying to get people to engage with LinkedIn posts and like it and comment.
So you're using other social media with Twitter, and then you're having it go back to LinkedIn as your preferred social media source.
Right, and I added a picture this time, which I should have done in the other ones, because tweets with pictures get much more engagement.
Okay, tweets with pictures. Now we're looking at another picture with, it looks like a podcast. So talk us through this one.
This is a LinkedIn post I did to promote the podcast to my LinkedIn community.
Okay, so you're promoting the podcast on LinkedIn, sending them to iTunes. You're promoting LinkedIn on iTunes and sending them back to LinkedIn. Is that accurate?
Correct, yeah.
So you're creating a little mini intranet just with one piece of content in less than a week.
All over and over and over.
Okay, and then we're looking at something else that looks like your LinkedIn profile. What are we looking at here?
Yeah, so just another post. I'm driving people in there for the replay.
Okay, and is this on Twitter?
This is on LinkedIn, and I'm driving them to the LinkedIn post.
Okay, so from LinkedIn to LinkedIn, from Twitter to LinkedIn, from LinkedIn to Twitter. It sounds complicated. Is it easy or is it complicated?
No, you just do the hub and spoke and just keep focusing on getting people to that post, because we wanted to get more people to sign up for today's event. That was our ultimate goal.
The hub and spoke is the key to this whole process as a template, right?
Yeah, we have a strategy. We're trying to get people to that post to register. That was our bottom line, is just keep it simple.
Okay, very good. And then I'm looking at another post now with my face on it, and it says, watch Marketing Online Hangout Live. This is a post of my picture if you're listening to this. Again, you can watch this whole thing at marketingonline.com/TED2, as in the number 2. Ted has a great name because, you know, the TED speeches, he just can hitchhike off of that brand. So what are we looking at here? Is this a LinkedIn post or is it a Facebook post? What is it?
This is a LinkedIn post that I sent him actually to the webinar page.
Okay, so
Marketing Online page.
So this is LinkedIn, and we're sending them to watch the video, correct?
Correct.
Okay, awesome. And then now I'm looking at something else. It's my picture on it. It says Watch Marketing Online Hangout Live. Where is this posted?
So I posted that on my Facebook page.
So now this is Facebook going to the webinar, or the Hangout, if you'd like to call it that, and it's going from Facebook to event, correct?
Right.
Okay. And then I see another picture. I see Joel Hefner at the top with a date, and then I see Ted Prodromou with a big banner. What is this?
So Joel posted this on my Facebook page, congratulating me about the success of our webinar.
So Joel is posting on your behalf.
Yes.
Okay, so you're getting third-party authority, and if you had an army or legions of Joel, that would only assist us, right?
Right. So I had Joel. Joel wrote this and said he liked the LinkedIn post we did on LinkedIn Pulse. He spread it to his community, gives us social proof. Great social proof.
Great social proof. And then now we have a banner that we're looking at. It says Part 2 is coming up, and there's a banner that we have up at marketingonline.com/TED2, and that's the Google Events page. What are we looking at here on this slide?
This I posted on my Facebook page also, just promoting this week's event.
Okay.
And tell your friends.
So, let's talk about what's the biggest mistake people make, since we're looking at the mistakes page. What's the single biggest mistake people make?
The biggest mistake I was making till recently was really posting things once. I would tweet something once, and that was it. And if people saw it, great. If they didn't see it, oh well, go on to the next piece of content.
Okay, and just so if you're listening or reading, what I'm looking at here is my Marketing Online page, and it's my blog at Marketing Online. It's a replay of the Hangout from our first Hangout. So that keeps going. Then we have on YouTube the Marketing Online Hangout. That is on my YouTube channel. That's what we're looking at here. You notice we've doubled our efforts. Ted's tribe, Alex's tribe, and it just keeps going. So the topic is repurposing.
But what we used to do in the past was, you know, I would do a webinar, I would post it on my website, I'd send one email to my list and say, hey, the replay is posted, and that was it. And I would tweet it once, I'd put it on Facebook once, and LinkedIn once.
And what do you do now?
So now we do the hub and spoke, just keep pushing it out there over and over in different places at different times so more people can see it.
And how long did this take you to do? It took us 30 minutes for the piece of content. How long did the repurposing take through the week? Because that's what you do during the week.
Oh, gosh, not more than 2 hours total.
For the week?
Yeah,
for the week.
For the whole
Okay,
week.
so what I recommend is about 3.5 hours, and it's not producing content, which is a mistake, I think. It's repurposing the existing content you have. Ted, would you agree?
Correct, yeah. It's so much easier. Like I said, I'd rather write one book than 100 books.
Right, and you get more focused and you look like you know what you're talking about. Here is inside of LinkedIn the actual Hangout replay. For those listening, what are we looking at here, Ted?
That's where I started putting the register button so people could register for the next Hangout, and then we had the transcript. So
Okay.
the full transcript is all below there.
Okay, so bottom line is they're looking at the previous Hangout, and then they're registering for the next one, and the transcript to the previous Hangout is there as well on LinkedIn.
Correct.
Okay, Alex, okay, so here's part of the transcript. There's me. It says, Alex, and then I say, you are here for one reason. It's the reason that every author has been chasing from the beginning of time, ever since books were published. I mean, I say that's a pretty good opening. It just came from the top of my head. This was the initial Hangout we did, which is marketingonline.com/TED. Today, it's TED2. The one 2 weeks ago is just TED, and this is the transcript. Now, you see how I've chunked it? It's more readable. That took me about half an hour of my time, and I send it over to Ted, all right, and he put it up. Principles on LinkedIn, principles of lead generation on LinkedIn. Oops, where is that? Where is what I'm looking at here? This looks like it's some RSS feed, or maybe it's on iTunes. Where is this?
It's a blog post on my website, so they can watch
Okay.
the full replay right there, the YouTube replay.
Okay, so this is same exact content, just in a different place. Would you agree?
Exactly.
Okay, I hope everyone is paying attention. And then here I see audio. Where is this?
That's posted on my website, and that's the podcast.
Okay,
the audio
so
I ripped
on
out.
your website you have the video. On your website you have the audio as a podcast, and you've repurposed it on your website, correct?
Right.
Okay, here's what's really cool. When people see the same content again and again, they're starting to think, wow, this is important. And then I'm looking at something right now that kind of looks familiar. Where is this posted?
That's below the podcast. I put the transcript.
Okay.
They can listen to it or they can read it.
So they listen to it and they can read it. If they want to watch it, they're going to have to watch it on YouTube or any other of the video channels. And then this looks like it's on iTunes. Tell us where we're looking at now.
Yeah, that's where I use the Burberry plugin on WordPress. So when I just post content, a podcast on my WordPress blog, it posts it into iTunes for me automatically.
Okay, it's all over the place. And then here, this looks like it's on Google+. Tell me what I'm looking at here.
So that's some promotion we did on Google+. That's you promoting the event.
Okay, so that's me
And then-
promoting this event, and there's
Look, there's my testimonial right next to it.
you have a testimonial right next to it, and then this is also Google+. Is this on yours or mine?
That is, I just searched for you, so this is things you had been posting.
Okay, very good, by default. And then, Ted, this is you on Google+. This is your Google+ as well, correct?
Yep, and here's where I was posting things, and there's the replay off to the right,
Now,
on the right column.
how does this benefit Ted? Now, he wrote for Entrepreneur Magazine, The Ultimate Guide to LinkedIn for Business, and everything is there. Access to, a free chapter, getting access to that book. He's promoting it using content as a means of promotion. And then now we're looking at another TED picture. It's being shared on LinkedIn. It says, where is this post?
That's posted on my Facebook page.
So this is Facebook, and it's Facebook showing your LinkedIn banner or header, whatever you would call it, and where is it going to?
So that will go to the replay, the Pulse posts that we did that ranked
this
number 1, 2, and 4.
So you're looking at a Facebook post that goes to a replay, which is LinkedIn, correct?
Correct.
All right. All right. I'm exhausted because I've gone on a tour all over the net, and I didn't even move. Now, if this looks complicated, it's not. If this looks exciting, it is. All you have to do is map it out. How do you map it out? You map it out through a repurposing roadmap, which we already have. You just saw it. First, you do the content. Now, you don't have to do 30 minutes like we're doing. And then you have the video as a starting point. You rip the audio, and you have a transcript. We use Rev.com. I'm not an affiliate of theirs. They just do really, really good work. And then for the rest of the week, from 2 to 3.5 hours, you take that content and you post it on all of these sites. We didn't even talk about Web 2.0. I'm saving that for a course I'm teaching next year. But we went even beyond this repurposing roadmap because you don't even see iTunes here. So there's a lot of power. We didn't talk about press releases, and that could cost you money or you can do it for free. But the irresistible offer has to be on one hub place. And the irresistible offer page for TED was LinkedIn, and it was to get, the call to action was to get registered for this event. And did it work? Yes. Are there hundreds of people watching? We're probably going to eclipse the 2,000 person mark by the time we're done. It works. Did we become number one with certain keyword phrases? Yes, within less than a week. That's how powerful it is. Ted, I'm going to have you have the last word. I did a lot of talking on the repurposing. I think you did a tremendous job. What is the future of repurposing and this traffic strategy of getting more exposure?
It's the new SEO, and like I said, we were afraid to put the content on LinkedIn and drive it there. I was personally, because I didn't want to lose that traffic. I looked at my Google Analytics this morning. 50% of my web traffic came from LinkedIn last week to my website. So
what are you going to do
driving
differently?
people to LinkedIn drove people to my website eventually.
Yeah, so the question now is, it begs the question, what are you going to do from now on differently?
Just keep queuing up that content, repurposing it. Literally, it was cut and paste. And if you use something like Hootsuite, you just paste it in there and schedule it. It just does it all automatically for you.
And if you want, you can change the hub. It doesn't always have to be LinkedIn, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Oh, there you have it. We started with the most important thing online. This leads to your legacy. This leads to your influence. This leads to the size of your list. This leads to your happiness, exposure, and visibility. Okay, that's called marketing reach. And if you're a speaker, author, or trainer, this is especially relevant to you because you never have enough exposure, visibility, or marketing reach. We have given you some proof assets and case studies to make this claim that you can get massive exposure using LinkedIn as your hub. How do you do it? You do it through repurposing. What's your hub? Is it Facebook? Is it your Facebook group? Is it your Facebook fan page? Is it Twitter? What is it? You need to have one. Start by thinking about what your hub is. What's your root content? Well, I don't know what it is. This happened to be a video on a hangout on how to use LinkedIn to get more exposure. But what do you use for root content? I use video because it's easier. I have the audio built in. I have a transcript built in. What are your media spokes? What media do you use? People don't use enough new media. So the spokes are the key because your market is attached to the media. The message is not matching the market anymore directly. The message is matching the media, which is already attached to communities and legions of market sources. Now, I'm going to get a lot of hate mail for that because people have been teaching just the opposite for 100 years. We've never had these micro-dominated media sources where there are literally thousands of them, and they're very, very fruitful. And right now, I want you to think about having an ideal message to media match versus message to market match. You will be matching the market, but by finding the media source. Ted, I'll go back to you for the final word. Do you agree or disagree with that? Because you come from the same school of thought. What do you think?
It's totally opposite of what we've been doing for years and what we thought was the right thing to do. And now we proved that it works really easily in just 2 hours of work.
Well, I want to be crystal clear. We never lied in the years past. The truth changed. I used to tell that to my mother, Carol. Mom, I didn't lie. The truth changed. But that was a different context. So it's not like we've been doing the wrong thing. The truth has changed. And as a result of this shift, new media has made it possible for us to find media sources, and that is attached to the exposure to the market. My name is Alex Mondosian. On behalf of Ted Prodromou and his team, I want to wish you good luck, good sales, and happy repurposing, because that is the topic here, to get massive exposure, not just on LinkedIn, but all over the net. All good wishes.